Good morning, everyone. How are you doing? I hope you are having a fantastic day. We are welcome to our first social studies recorded lesson. This is going to be a review about what community is and what are the types of the communities. So last week we you've seen this assignment before, you supposedly read it and knew that there are three types of communities. You can find this in Google Classroom under assignment. Once you click on the Google slide, um, you see the speaker over here. You can click on the speaker icon and it would read all of these words to you. Uh, I highly suggest that you pay attention to this and know the information in this slide because next week we will use this as our study guide for our Unit 1 Community Summative. Okay, let's begin. So, what is a community? Just looking at the picture, we know that a community is a place where people live, work, and play together. So any place that a group of people share something together constantly is called a community. And there are different kinds and different types of communities. We work together at school. We learn together at school. So a school is a community where we have teachers, students, interventionists, lunch monitors, all of these people. We also live with our families, so our house is a community. So in your home, your mom, dad, brother, sister, baby, sibling, your grandma, grandpa, if you have an aunt or anyone who lives with you in the house, your house is a small community that is of your family. We also live, work, and have fun with people in our neighborhood. So our neighborhood is a community. The place you live in, the neighbors that you play with, your friends, this is a community. The city you live in is a community. Now we are going to move to three kinds of communities. So just like those small communities, the bigger communities are separated into three kinds. You have an urban community, you have a suburban community, and a rural community. Last week we talked about rural community, which is the last one here at the bottom, and we said that a rural community is something that's like a country or a village. Let's see, looking at the pictures. So, what is a rural community? A rural community is not close to a city. There are many farms, fields, or forests in a rural community. In a rural community, houses are far apart. A rural community does not have big stores or restaurants. So just reading the text, I want you to know or think about it as a rural community, as a small village, or when you go up north, when you see a lot of mountains, a lot of farms, a lot of rivers. So some natural characteristics that you would see are, like rivers, hills, mountains, fields. You would see cows, you would see horses, you would see wild animals, you would see all of these things that rocks, that dirt, plants, vegetables, things that you would find in nature. Some human characteristics that you would find in a rural community, just looking at the pictures here, you would see like cottage, a cabin, tractors, a farm, a barn, a like bikes, or a carriage, like a horse carriage. Sometimes like people use those. Okay. In your social studies notebook, you should have done this last week. You should have drawn a picture of a rural community and then labeled two natural characteristics and two human characteristics. Remember, these are the ones that I just listed. Like if you decided to draw a farm as a rural community, that would be okay. So you can mark the fields, the cows, the animals. These are natural characteristics. And then for human characteristics, you can mark the farmer, you can mark the tractor, you can mark the rake, you can mark the plower, things like that. Now we're going to learn about urban communities. An urban community is a city. The buildings are tall and close together. Many people live and work in an urban community. An urban community has many cars, buses, trains, taxis, and subways. An urban community also has schools, houses, and apartments. So when you think about urban community, think about a very, very busy city, something like in New York, Chicago, downtown Detroit, where there's a lot of skyscrapers, tall buildings. The buildings and the houses are very, very close to one another. There's a lot of traffic, a lot of noise, loud, things like that. So, and a lot of people as well. This is where an urban community um, described. If you want to say what natural characteristics there will be, I would say there are very few natural characteristics in an urban community. Um, okay, we can say the sun. We can say, don't think there are a lot, maybe a little bit of trees. But as of human characteristics, you should find a lot of these in an urban community because this is a large city and humans have done so many things in an urban community. You can say tall buildings, skyscrapers, cars, buses, trains, taxis, subways, traffic lights, big houses, apartments. You can say you will see condos there, a lot of these stuff. So here, if you want, in your social studies notebook, you can also draw a picture of an urban community and label or write two natural characteristics and two human characteristics on your picture. I have, oh, this is a typo here. I have to fix it. The last part of a community, the last kind of community is a suburban community. So what is a suburban community? A suburban community also has houses, cars, and buildings. A suburban community is more spread out. There are usually homes with yards and garages in a suburban community. The suburbs have restaurants, stores, and fun activities nearby. So when I think about suburban communities, I like to think about a small city, not too big and busy that you can't sleep in from too much noise, neither too quiet and dark and houses are far apart like the urban community. It's something in between. Um, so a suburban community is a city, a small one, that you can find cars, you can find houses in there. The houses are big enough, they're not too close, not too far. They have front yards, they have backyards, they have garages, you have stores around you. For example, um, you don't have to travel that far. You don't have a train, or you people might be using bicycles or cars, things like that. So some natural characteristics that you would find in a suburban community would be, I'm gonna say, squirrels. Maybe you would see birds. You would see trees. You would see parks, grass, things like that. And as of human characteristics, you would see things like houses, you would see traffic lights, you would see small roads, you will see cars, you will see garage, you can say trampoline, you can say stores like Target or Walmart or, Chuck E. Cheese or things like that. Okay, so just by looking at all three communities, which community do you think we live in? Yeah, do you have far away houses and then use horses? Or do you live in a skyscraper and there's a lot of cars where you live and noise? Or do you live in a house like this or a small apartment and you have like neighbors and things like that? I think we all live in a suburban community as of here. If you live in Westland or Dearborn Heights, Livonia, things like that, these are all called suburban communities. I want to show you some examples of how would those pictures compare. Also, in your social studies, go ahead and draw a picture about a suburban community, and label two human characteristics and two natural characteristics that you can find there. This is an easiest one. It's the one in between. You can draw your house, your backyard, and things you would find in your own house. Okay? Here I want you to see some pictures I have. If we look here, you see a skyscraper, tall buildings. You see like big, humongous buildings over here. Lots of people, lots of noise, lights. This is an urban community, a city like Chicago, Detroit, New York. If you look over here, you will see the houses are next to one another. There are trees, grass, parks, something that looks like that, backyards, front yards. This is a suburban community. And here you would see lots of fields. The houses are too far away. So this is one house here. This is another. You would see animals and barns and windmills and things like that. So this is a rural community. I hope that helped. Please use this as a study guide. Watch. If you have any questions, let me or Miss Fenton know. And we will see you later. I hope that helped you study for the community and what kinds of communities. Bye-bye.